Hello, my name is Trepanier. We're going to be running through quickly the process of getting a model from 3D Max into Doom 3. Here we are in 3D Max, standard primitives. Now let's go with an extended primitive, make a torus knot, make a small little knot here, there we go. Click here, make it up there, a little bigger. Now what we want to do is stick a UV map onto that, just make a planar, no big deal. Now we head into Photoshop and create a texture for it. Here we are in Photoshop. We'll just do Control N, create a new picture. I don't know what that is. I work in centimeters, 72 pixels. 7.11 centimeters is 512 pixels. Now what we want to do is call it Trep1A _D because we're going to make the diffuse map. That's the naming convention. You have to have _D for the diffuse, _S for the specular, and _local for the bump map. We're only going to make a diffuse and an editor preview map here. Texture, I should say. Trep1A _D, and letter N would have opened up the picture here, and we'll just squiggle on. You can take a person to mapping, but you can't make them artistic. Okay, there's our texture. Save as. Now where we save it is on the C drive. We have to create a textures folder. The textures folder has a custom folder in it. You can call this custom folder whatever you want, and you have to save it as a TGA. There's a way to do DDS. I haven't found it yet, but TGA works so far, and that's just fine for me. Save. Now what we want to do is the same picture. We want to come to image size here, and we're going to cut that to 50% of it. Okay, and we're going to save this one as _ED, and that's the editor preview window thumbnail. Save. Okay, now we're done here. We can go stick the texture onto the model in 3D Max. Back in 3D Max. Don't want that turned on, that doesn't matter. We want to just slide this over so we can get the material editor. And material editor, down here at diffuse, click on the little box here, open up the bitmap, come into C drive. On the C drive, we're in textures, custom. We want the Trep _D, the diffuse map. Okay, apply it to the mesh, show it in the viewport. Looks good to me. Now we're going to come into this part, we're already there. Right click, collapse all. Up here, export selected. Inside of C drive, a new folder called models, and subfolder called map objects. Inside there, a folder called whatever you want. This one's called custom, and we will call this thingy. And we're not saving it as a 3ds, we're saving it as an ASCII scene export.ase. And sure, everything looks good here. That's all you really need. That stuff's all fine. Okay, and that's it. We head on into the C drive now. On the C drive, you have your textures folder where you've just created the textures, put them in. You have the models folder where your ASE now resides, but you have to also now create a materials folder. Inside materials folder, create a notepad text file, call it .mtr, custom.mtr in this case, because that's where everything is pointing to, and just to keep everything the same. Inside of here is where you call textures custom Trep1A, so it refers to everything that would have the Trep1A, the _D, the _ED, the S, and the local if I had a specular and a bump map, which I don't. We're just working with a simple one here. And so textures custom Trep1A, that's your folder naming. And custom.mtr, save it as a whatever, and then just rename it to mtr. That's what you want to have there. So let's look at that again so you can see what you have to write down, because you have to write this down and write it into a notepad. There you go. Come on back to here, and inside the one called models, we just made the ASE map objects inside custom. Thingy.ase, that's also just a text file. Most stuff on computers are just text files. Open this up in Notepad. Down here where it says bitmap, it says Trep1A _D. Get rid of that _D. Custom Trep1A, this part here, you want it to say purgatory. Well, before that, you want it to have 2 of those. And then you want it to say purgatory. And then you wanted to say doom and no capital base textures. Is that it? Yes, that looks good to me. And again, no trep underscore, just trep1a.tga. And that makes it show up inside the game. They don't join together if you don't do that. File save. Again, it's just an ASE, worked in Notepad, save it as an ASE. And that is now, we can go textures, models, and materials. Right click on it, add to zip. Don't need to do that, just say full path info. We will call it pack 666. Add. So it adds those items. There they are with the path info. And now we can come here, cut this out of here, and head over to the Doom folder. Inside the Doom folder, go to base. We don't want this one here. Right click, paste it, rename it PK4, and you're done there. We can now go into the editor. Okay, here we are in the Doom 3 editor. We can open up a map and come on down to, well, we'll just right click on this area actually, new model. This here will give us a selection to choose from right over here. There we are. Plus, you can open that up, map objects, and then it's not alphabetical. It's you have to come down here to find custom. So there we are in custom. Yes, we want to see it. Okay, and there it is in the game. Let's raise it up. Let's BSP, and let's go take a look at it. Okay, there's our model in the game, and it's a solid. You could jump up and stand on it if you wanted to. Woo! That's it for this one.